Folks, welcome back to a special episode of So Bad It's Good. I have missed this guy so much since we recapped the entire last season of The Traitors. And I think there is nobody more suited to actually talk about the current season of Love Island USA season 7 than our next co-host. But we also have a special guest also from the Love Island USA extended universe. We just want to remind everybody, we're going to try to do these every week and we'll try to recap what we see. These are not line by line recaps. These are not my overly bloated. I mean, I love them, but we're going to go like hit the big moments, hit all of the hoopla surrounding this. But we have a couple that actually succeeded from Love Island USA. So do not say that this show potentially does not work. So our co-host, as always, is Carsten Bergie Bergersen, and we have our special guest, Taylor Smith from season 5 of Love Island USA. Welcome back, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your intros are always banging.
No, by the way, and Taylor, I'm so ADHD. Like, I wish Taylor could be on every week because not only does she know everything about Love Island USA, she knows everything about pop culture and reality TV and our Bravo. And we're going to probably talk about a couple of things before Love Island USA just to catch up. And Bergie, thankfully, he's a student and he actually put an outline together for this. So already we're doing better than we've ever done before. Taylor, you are visiting Bergie right now, right?
Yes, I am here in North Dakota.
North Dakota. What do you think of North Dakota, Taylor?
This place is a disaster.
I am. There's lovely people here, but if you ask me if I wanted to live here, it's a definite no. The only reason I am here is to get my doctorate of physical therapy. My rent out here is like $500 a month with
Everyone
utilities.
drives here like at 20 miles per hour, and I'm from Dallas, so it's like I'm in the heat of the traffic, and I'm like, can you fucking drive?
All right. Wow.
So,
this is good island energy. It's good island energy already. Well, I just want to point out, Taylor, I'm going to put all of their socials on the show notes, but go follow them on everything. I was just watching Bergie's TikTok of preparing for Taylor's visit, and he made her chocolate chip cookies. I think there was a stuffed animal involved. Did all that go well, Taylor?
Oh, yeah, it all went well. And he picked up my favorite milk from the store, so I had milk with my cookies. Best boyfriend.
But she also sends me a list. Hey, I would really like these things.
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, I need these things.
That's called that's called communication. That is a two-way street. That's what we like to see is communication. We never see that on reality TV. So let's get into Bergie's outline, okay?
Yeah. So first thing, Taylor is visiting because of my white coat ceremony. If you guys don't know, I did 5 years of undergrad before going on Love Island. And then after Love Island, I was actually supposed to go right back to PT school. But what ended up happening is I got a call to go do the Traitors. So then I had to go call my school and be like, hey, I'm wondering if I can get another year off because I really want to just see where this reality TV takes me. And I'm going to go to Scotland in 2 weeks. They're like, you're going to Scotland in 2 weeks? You were just in Fiji. I was like, I know it. My life is crazy right now. So I need a year off. So they gave me a year off. And then after doing Traitors, I took that year off. And then I went back to PT school. And now I have gotten my white coat for doing 1 year of grad school. I have 2 years left. And then I'll be a doctor of physical therapy. Then I'm moving to Dallas with Taylor. But this weekend's just a celebration of me going back to school and
I've never heard of a white coat ceremony. They don't do those at ASU. They don't do, or not that I was invited to. So
yeah, no, everyone like in Dallas is like, well, what is it? And I'm like, well, it's the practice with patience. I think it's a cool ceremony that they do because I feel like it's a big stepping stone, like, that what pushes them that much more towards their career and everything. I was going to say something. I forgot.
Well, no, I also have to imagine, though, that your school probably gets a lot of calls to take a year off to do reality TV.
Oh, yeah. Like, it happens all the time. It's the first kid in North Dakota to probably ever get a call for what the heck?
And if Peacock, Bravo, or any show wants to have him back on, his name is not going to be Bergie. It's going to be Dr. Bergie. I will correct them.
By the way, that is great. I mean, that's a great branding. We go from Bergie to Dr. Bergie the next time he's on reality television.
Exactly.
Taylor, you would go back to reality television, right? Would you do Love Island Games?
Absolutely. Like, I know Paige DeSorbo just dropped out of Summer House, which is super sad, but like, I would love to do Summer House.
Okay, wait, but the question is, Taylor, what happens? You get there and then Jesse Solomon is all over you, hitting on you,
And
trying to hook up with you. What do you do?
It's going to be me giving him the boot, being like, I have a boyfriend back at home. Sorry, Jesse, but like, I'll help you get your girl, but I'm not her.
And then Bergie has to come in one weekend and kind of get tough with Jesse Solomon.
Exactly. Like, who doesn't want to see the drama unfold?
By the way, I know some of the producers of Summer House. I mean, if you're listening or watching, come on. This is an obvious. We need season 10. This would be great.
It would be great because I know Jesse, he'd probably want to get at me.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is like, I can already see all of this coming to fruition. So, but obviously you guys met on Love Island season 5. And this is really interesting too, because season 6 exploded, right? And is there any sort of like, damn, I wish I had been on that season. Like, that's when it really, there was a huge, like, I think Ariana Madix hosting was a huge thing. The publicity machine was in full gear. And I think all of these things came together. And on top of being a great cast and make an amazing season, you guys had a great season, but you did not get the attention that season 6 got. Did you feel that?
Oh yeah, we definitely felt it. Well, like watching it last year and like doing our weekly recaps, I'm like, holy crap, the season just keeps blowing up and it gets bigger and bigger. It was like a snowball going down the mountain. It just got bigger and bigger. And like, are we a little bitter that we get to see like Taylor, Janae, they're all buying houses and we're just like barely getting by with our monthly expenses.
$500 for rent, you guys. He's got to get the.
But like, we applaud them. Like, go get your bag. Like, obviously, I that is just a huge accomplishment in life to be that young and like to like buy a home at 22 or 24 or however old. Like, those are all huge accomplishments. Like, are we bitter? Yes, but like, am I so happy for them? Absolutely.
Yeah, two things can be true at once. I just talked to Cordell Beckham this week, and I talk to him now every couple months because he has a new brand he's promoting. So he'll come on, and this one is for like Temptations cat treats, and the last one was Cheez-Its. And each time he's 23 years old, and this guy is now like fully balling out there. They just announced Love Island Beyond the Villa, which is going to follow the season 6 cast. So it really is. But I'm saying, let's get Bergie and Taylor. These are my two Islanders that I want to succeed. Okay, so where do we go from here, Bergie?
Okay, so to finish off the white coat real quick, it's just a celebration for healthcare professionals right before they go into their first clinical. So that's the thing of the white coat. Taylor and I also did the Cruise of Deception. It was like one of the first reality TV cruises. Mm-hmm. It was, I think every person on it had one of the most fantastic times there.
Absolutely.
They got to meet every reality TV celebrity that was there, and they had an absolute blast. And the Cruise of Deception is happening again next year already. They just did a date where I couldn't make it, so I'm not going to be able to make it next year, but it was a blast. So if you guys can make it and you love Traitors, definitely go out and sign up for the Cruise of Deception.
Because didn't they have like Trishelle and Shereé and like a bunch of like amazing people?
Wasn't there.
Shereé wasn't there, but they had Trishelle,
Peter, Janelle.
Well, that's good enough right there. I mean, so did your team win, Bergie? Did your team win?
Did your team win?
Okay, so each team had a winner. So like there was a grand prize of $50,000, and then there was individual teams. The grand prize was actually $10,000, and then there was the individual team prize pots. So the guy that won my team won a certain amount of money, and then he went and played a big game of Traitors at the very end with all the celebrities. So I got to play Traitors again at the very end of the cruise with all the people that won on the individual teams. Like, so there was a Team Peter, Team Trishelle, Team Janelle. So if you won on that team, then on the last day of the cruise, you got to play a big game of Traitors with all the celebrities.
Did you lose on that? Did you lose Traitors again, Bergie?
Oh, I embarrassed myself.
He just kept saying like, I'm going to go with the same person because he's like, I just don't know.
Yeah, because the game only lasted 2 hours. And I'm like, one person kept like, I couldn't tell if they were lying to me or not. I'm like, I can't, but in the next 2 hours, I can't figure out if you're lying to me or not. So I just have to keep voting for you.
Okay, so Cruise of Deception, this does sound amazing, and that's taking place again next year, but Bergie will not be there.
Yes. Okay, and then real quick, some shows we have been watching. Destination X, I've only watched the first episode, Peter and Janae haven't shown up yet. They're coming next week, so I'm super excited to see what they bring.
Yes.
I think Destination X is a great show, but something I wanted to bring up is the timing of these shows. Like we had Traitors, and then while Traitors was airing, we had Deal or No Deal Island airing at the same time, which I thought was a terrible decision by Peacock to have two competition shows competing against time on their platform. And now we have Destination X and Love Island competing for people's screen time. I don't understand what they're doing, what their strategy is with this overlapping of shows.
Yeah, it's hard because even, like Love Island competed against The Valley, and those are both NBC Universal properties. And I know one's on Peacock, one's on Bravo, but it's all under the same umbrella. And I've watched the first two episodes of Destination X, which, by the way, it's hosted by Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Walking Dead. And it's basically kind of like they take them to random points in the world and you have to guess. They have to like get clues of where they are and guess where they are to kind of win in this competition. And what you were saying is that Pilot Pete from Traitors and The Bachelor, he's going to be on there eventually. And also Janae from season 6 of Love Island is going to be a contestant at some point, but they have not shown up in the first two episodes. But I like it. But to your point, there's just so much. And then if you put Love Island every night of the week, how are we supposed to have real lives at all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and my thing is, it's like, why, like there was a gap where they could have had Dondi, Deal or No Deal Island play right after Traitors, but they had half the season competing during the same time as Traitors. And then they waited to put Destination X at the end of May. They should have had Destination and come out right at the end of Deal or No Deal Island, and then that could have led into Love Island, especially with having Janae from Love Island season 6.
Will you take time away from your white coat ceremony to start programming NBC Universal properties? It sounds like
I would just like to know what their marketing strategy is. It's like they're eating themselves up from viewership, because like you could have had Traitors end and then advertise like, hey, our next game show, Deal or No Deal Island, is coming out next week. Since Traitors is now over, go watch that. And then once Deal or No Deal Island ended, have them go watch Destination X. But instead, they're just overlapping shows.
Yeah.
Well, and then Netflix had $1 Million Secret, which was another competition reality series. It got picked up for a second season. But I mean, I watched it. I had some of the contestants on the show, but it's another one of those like reality competition series are hot right now. But I feel like if you put too many out there, the bubble's going to burst at some point, and people are going to be so annoyed at them, kind of like Marvel movies where you're like, I can't keep up.
Right.
Exactly. And I like, especially if Peacock starts like getting into that territory, it's just like, I hope they balance it out. And especially like Marvel, it's fun to watch your favorite superheroes in your favorite movies, but it's like, if you start overdoing it and like start
intertwining
and throwing too much out there, it's like hard to keep up. Like I haven't kept up with Marvel since Endgame. It's like there's too much out there.
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
Disney Plus shows. But anyways, I saw both of you guys were super excited for RHOC returning.
So that's the Real Housewives of Orange County. Taylor, we got our trailer for season 19. What did you think of the trailer?
I got goosebumps. I got chills because I'm like, when they were like, oh, well, have you ever, what is the lying test thing called?
Oh, the lie detector test.
The lie detector test. Yeah. So do you think it was with Jen? Is that what it had to do with
Jen Pedranti?
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I think they're using this as a device to ask everybody questions about everything. So also what I'm hearing is that I'm blanking on her name now. It's Jen and the other newbie from last season. What's her name?
Alex. No,
not Alexis Bellino.
Jesus Jugs.
No, that's Alexis Bellino.
Jen.
That's Jen. Wait, sorry. I'm blanking on her name. But she's like, they call her like the undercover assassin in the trailer. And supposedly like Shannon goes up against her in the trailer that we saw. And wait, I got to find out this name. Sorry.
Because it had to deal with that, like them dating the same guy, right?
No, that was Jesus Jugs, John Jansen, and Shannon Bedore. Jesus Jugs is no longer there on the show.
She's gone.
She's gone. So one sec. Here we go. Sorry. Katie. I just remembered the first name. Oh, Katie Janelle.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that trailer, like, I felt like there was so much going on, but I do feel like we're going to see a lot unwind with Shannon this season, just with everything that happened the previous season, because how it ended was last season, I think she just walked out. Like, she was like, I'm done.
Well, no, I mean, she had that they picked back up cameras after the reunion, and then Tamra and Heather Dubrow kind of came in and apologized to Shannon and kind of kissed her ring, even though they had been like shit talking her the entire season.
And Tamra's in therapy.
Well, Tamra's in therapy, and allegedly Tamra quit the show during the season, but then came back a week later. I'm also hearing that Katie Janela either gets fired or quits, and she wasn't in the final the final cast trip to Amsterdam, which we see clips of in the trailer.
Oh, the Asian girl, Katie.
Yeah. yes. You got it. That's it. But no, I mean, it looks exciting. I'm just shocked that they just finished filming like a month and a half ago. So they're rushing this out because it premieres July 10th.
Yeah.
And I did not know it was coming this quickly.
No, it's going to be a good season, I feel like.
Yeah, it looks good. And it doesn't, I'm glad John Jansen and Jesus Jugs is out of there, but we have the return of Gretchen Rossi, who is a blast from the past, but also a very, she's very troubling. She is married. She's married to the guy. Well, she says she broke his dick in the trailer.
She did say that.
She makes it so that he's back, and he used to date the first season cast member. I'm blanking on all of these names right now, but he has a long history with Housewives, so it'll be interesting to see what she brings. And allegedly in the trailer, it says they have audio of Tamra cheating on Eddie.
No.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
Oh, so Slade Smiley. Slade Smiley is Gretchen's husband name. Slade Smiley.
Oh, Slade Smiley. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So great name.
Great name.
Yeah. So Real Housewives of Orange County, that returns July 10th. What else do we have?
Okay. Real quick, I just want to say I think Andor is the greatest thing to happen to Star Wars since episode 6 back in 1983. Just had to get that out there. Ryan, I don't know if you've seen Andor yet, but it is fantastic.
Okay, so I knew you had recommended this a while ago, so I am now on episode 5 of season 1 of Andor, and I love it. And I heard season 2 is even better than season 1. You can find this on Disney Plus, and I hear it's like the one good thing that they've done right about the Star Wars franchise since the original trilogy, like you said.
That's what I've heard.
Well, I would say that, but also I thought Rogue One was fantastic in 2016. I also think Han Solo is overhated. That came out in 2017. That was right after The Last Jedi. I do think the sequel trilogy was awful. But other than that, we could have a whole podcast on my Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, let me catch up on Andor, and then we can really break it down. But Andor so far is an amazing, and it's very different in terms of what a normal Star Wars thing that you would picture. It's like really in depth, and it's like The Wire on HBO. Okay, we wanted to talk really briefly. I wanted to get Taylor's thoughts on Paige leaving Summer House.
Yeah, when she posted that, I was very sad, but also I feel like watching the end of the season when you saw like Lindsay, Amanda, and Paige on the couch when they were obviously talking about Paige's breakup with Craig and everything, you could just tell like they have just like outgrown the show. Like there was just some aura there. Like I felt like in that last episode where it was just like they're all look at each other. It's like we're getting too old for this shit. I don't know.
See, I felt they were really teasing a spinoff. I thought they were teasing I don't know why they don't film with those ladies in the city. And that's been the rumor, is that I do think Paige will still have a relationship with NBC Universal. And I do believe there is some spinoff or folding those ladies into Roni, which is kind of on pause right now, which I would be here for. Like on the Summer House reunion this week, Lindsay said she'll be back, but she doesn't think she'll be back every weekend.
Right.
Sierra, it'll be interesting to see her without Paige. But of course, like I think Paige is at a point where she's like Ariana Madix, where
she's just growing and she's traveling. She has her podcast. She just came out with a new new brand.
Yeah, it's called Daphne, right?
Daphne, her brand. Cat.
Yeah. I mean, but it's sad because I actually really enjoy Summer House. Even like the low level drama is something I really enjoy week after week. And I know people weren't fans of this season, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to be sad. Like, I'm sad that Paige is not coming back. I'm sad, but I understand, yeah, some people do outgrow those things and you do get too big for the show almost.
Right. Yeah. But I will say though, I would love to see Lindsay on Roni.
Yeah. I do. I think she would be great, and that way
I think she would be great.
To the Hamptons.
Yeah,
I mean, because that's what you want in reality TV. People that will pop off. Like, you might not necessarily understand them. It might not be like how you behave in life, but you need those people. And I think Lindsay, when she gets activated, she calls it like she sees it. You might disagree, but she calls it like she sees it, and she doesn't apologize. And I think that's so unique for reality television.
It is unique, and I think my favorite thing about this season, what Lindsay did, was she had the dinner of them celebrating her and Carl's your breakup.
Yeah. It's called the Freedom Dinner. We celebrate Freedom Dinner every August. I think it was the date in August now, but I'm like, I put it on my calendar so I can celebrate it every year now.
Literally, I was like, I think I might have to take notes because Lindsay ate with that one.
She was so proud of it too. She was like, the Freedom Dinner. And
she was like, it's your Freedom everybody. Dinner too, Carl.
I love it. So, okay, Summer House there. Great. Okay, so now, Bergie, you have a disclaimer. Is that right?
Yes. Okay, so before we're getting into Love Island, I just want to put this out there because people like to make fun of Islanders. But if we're ever going to make fun or jab at Islanders, it's not because of their personalities. It's going to be the dumb decisions they make in the villa. It's not because of who they are. It's just because it's like, why did you couple up with that person? That's so dumb. It's never going to be we're taking personal jabs at anybody.
Well, that's you. I am going to be taking personal jabs at people. And listen, I will say I love this disclaimer because I also want to say, if I do say something, it's usually in jest. I do have strong feelings about reality TV show characters. But having said that, I also know this is not the all-encompassing who they are. This is who I get to see every night. And just from decades of watching reality television, who I think they are. And that's what makes it work, is that you find people that you love, you find people that you dislike. And I think that's what's really exciting because everybody loves somebody, even the villain that you don't like, somebody else loves that person. And so we'll try to be as balanced as we can, but I do have some umbrages with Ace's tattoos. A lot of tattoo work on Ace.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, no, we're going to try to be as kind as possible, especially Bergie. You'll have that. And when I go too far, Bergie, just rein me in. Okay.
Yeah. Reel him back in.
Yeah, exactly.
And as long, I don't know who watches this podcast. It's probably not people that are actually harassing Islanders on their Instagram profiles or Twitter profiles. Never, you can make a Reddit thread, but never start harassing people in their comment threads.
I always think this was an obvious one, but it's not. I was, who did I read? Oh, Janet from the Valley. She had posted a hate comment that she got where it was it was brutal. And I was like, I get it. I get disliking somebody, but I have never gone to somebody's page and wrote a hate comment. I've said harsh opinions on this, but I stand by my harsh opinions. I do also feel bad after a year passes. I'm like, things change. So don't go and leave hate comments. Did you suffer any hate? You guys were kind of universally liked, I think.
I mean, I definitely suffered hate because I felt like when I came off the show, I was known as the girl that was just going to leave Bergie. I wasn't with him to be with him because I was just I suppose
you proved them wrong. Look at you. Look at you in Dakota.
Sitting in North Dakota. So fuck y'all.
You'll go a long way to prove a point, Taylor. Jeez.
Literally.
I got a lot of hate throughout the season. It was a roller coaster. People are like, this is going to be the first guy voted off. He's kind of ugly looking. What is he doing? And then obviously they liked me after the first episode. And then it was
obviously
I sacrificed myself. And, as the season went on and I wasn't coupling up with anybody, then they're people started to hate me again because they're like, why is this kid here? He's been here for way too long to not be in a couple. Then I coupled up with Taylor. And then people were like, okay, now they're faking it to win the money. And then the whole family night, when the family night video happened, shit hit the fan bad. People are reaching out and sending threats, or not threats, but they were sending hate comments to my family members, and it just got way out of hand after the family members.
Same with my mom too. My mom was getting DMs saying like your daughter's like not with Bergie for the right reasons, all of that.
Yeah, so it got to the point where our family members were getting hate from overshadowing us.
But isn't that I noticed this especially with Love Island, is that it's weird because it kind of promotes this environment where it encourages the audience member to be passionate. It encourages you, like, because it's every night, you're really sucked in. And, how do you walk that line of people not going too far, but wanting to keep them almost rabid in a certain point? In fact, we'll talk about this at some point. Already we have somebody that's exited the villa, your past comes back to haunt you, and people are making TikTok after TikTok after TikTok about the horrible things that certain people have done in their opinion before they got into the villa, on top of whatever happens in the villa. And I don't know, in that kind of pressure cooker, which, by the way, they do have mental health counselors on site, correct?
Yes. And that's something too, like, they prepare you super well going into the villa and going out of the villa. Some of the things I realized when I left the villa, they never prepare your family members for what you're about to go through and what they're about to see online. Because I've reached out to some of the people on this current season, and they're already telling me, like, it's hard going online and seeing what people are saying about my son on Love Island.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like it affects your family members in a way. Because, like, I was told stories of my dad, like, watching my season of Love Island, and then it would get tough for me, and he's watching me, and then he would have to leave the living room and then, like, go cry somewhere because it was so intense. Yeah, because it was so intense. So they do a great job of getting you ready,
but not your
family members.
Okay, so that's a constructive note for future seasons, is that, and by the way, if you follow the Love Island UK history, it's intense, man. People have taken their lives. People like it really, and they've switched a lot. In fact, they've curbed the drinking from the earlier seasons on UK. What is there, like a 2-drink limit a night?
It's not even 2 drinks.
Yeah, it's like a drink and a half.
It's like a shot of wine, 2 shots of wine. It's not doing anything.
I wish they'd curb those exercise. I hate all the weights there. I'm like, come on, I don't want to work on bodies while I'm watching TV.
Well, the funny thing is, I think I worked out a total of I did 1 workout the whole time I was there. And then I went touched.
When I was in my hotel and they made me watch the episodes on an iPad because I had to take notes and turn them into the producers. And it was like, he was at the gym and I was like, he's kind of cute.
All right.
And
that guy not working out. That guy's cute.
It was you working out.
It was me working out. But, like, I would maybe go in there. I'm like, all right, let's do a set of bicep curls. All right, that's good. And then walk away from it. It wasn't like me actually doing a full on workout for an hour. It was like me doing a workout for 3 minutes.
Well, the season 6 cast members, those guys were working out all the time. You had Schwarzenegger dude. Like, they were just like buff and well, so I also want to say, can you explain to the audience that might be listening to this that I really have no interest in Love Island but just likes you or likes me, and they're listening for how do you explain to strangers that do not know what Love Island is, what is it?
Okay, I would say it's a game dating show that has, like, musical chair element in it. I don't know how to that's how I explain it. And, like, it's not a love show. It's a dating game show, and we're gonna get into, like, some of the mechanics and it's one of the hardest things to do because, one, you have to find a partner, and then you and your partner have to make sure production like you enough to keep you in the villa. You have to make sure your castmates like you enough to be in the villa, and then you have to make sure the audience members like you enough to be in the villa. So you're playing to 3 different audiences to make sure you're staying in the villa, and then on top of that, you have everybody else around you that you have to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, do you agree?
Yeah, I would say, like, playing musical chairs is probably the best way to put it, because in my, like, experience, I mean, I feel like I was a puppet and I was just kind of like, production got to move me wherever they wanted to move me.
And that's what you knew you were signing up for, in a sense.
No, exactly. Like, I mean, I signed my life away. I knew what I was, like, getting in for, but I definitely feel like you said, it was like, it's like a game of, like, almost musical chairs where you are, and you're also having to worry about, like, oh, well, if I say this, how is that going to come off to the audience? Because it's a completely new experience when you get put in this environment and then you have cameras all around you and production all around you. And then, you know, they're videoing your in-depth conversations. And it's like, oh, you're constantly thinking if what I'm saying is going to be either twisted or did I like say something wrong? Like,
and they're trying to get you comfortable enough to have you forget about that.
Right.
Oh, yeah. They like the slip of the tongue.
I watched the first couple episodes of season 7 already, and they do this every season. Do they also say, hey, are you okay with kissing as much as possible? Because already they have people just going around blindfold kissing. Do they say, are you okay with kissing? Are you okay with kissing strangers?
I don't think they've asked.
I think I got I got asked like, oh yeah, how comfortable would you be doing some of the challenges you've seen on Love Island? And I said, yeah, I'd be fine with it.
Because I always think that's like, to me, that's when I'm like, oh my God, I get so nervous, like with the kid. I mean, like, I'm like, I'd have to be really drunk to just like kiss like a bunch of different people at the same thing, even if I was blindfolded. And these people are just like, yeah, let's do it. You know?
So was he? He was kissing everyone in the villa.
This guy, yeah, it was Christmas. Like, but if I can get you guys to fight, that would be amazing for the show. Like, which, by the way, I mean,
I was delusional enough to be like, yeah, I'd be okay with it. And then I got there, I was like, oh wait, this is really freaking awkward.
Well, then I'd figure like, well, that we have Bella or Belle-A, one of the cast members.
Yeah, Belle-Dasha.
She would like just like kiss me on the cheek, and she was a little more reserved than some of the other people there, which I find another kind of interesting thing. So the game is to eventually be the final couple standing, and last year it was Cordell and Serena, and they walked out. And like you said, the audience votes. The other thing that you said, Bergie, I found really interesting is that you're playing 3 ways: to the audience, to the people there, and to production, and trying to win production over. How much is it of charming production to stay? Like, how big of a part of the game is that?
I think it's more so like America, though.
Well, I would say it's your storyline within the story of Love Island. Like, if you have a storyline that isn't finished yet and production know they can get a little bit more out of you, they're not going to get you out of there. Like, they'll do everything to keep you there. Like last year, I think that's what happened with me. They knew like they could get something out of me, and they didn't want me to leave yet because they knew I still had a storyline. Last year we had Shereé, and if they did a typical Love Island dumping, where the boys vote a girl home and the girls vote a boy home, Shereé would have been dumped. Remember like the whole thing with Aaron like crying and Rob crying? They sent Andrea home. It was a big deal. They're like, why would you do that?
Crazy.
So I think production knew that the girls would send Andrea home over Shereé, and they were like, all right, this is the way we have to do it. Let's make sure we can get these puzzle pieces to play the way we want them to.
Yeah.
So we can get Shereé's story.
Yeah, exactly. So they know like enough about you of things that could potentially happen. So they're kind of programming for every scenario. And I believe, what is there, like a 2-day delay in terms of like editing the show and getting it out?
I would say maybe even it's definitely a 2-day delay, but also Fiji's like 17 hours ahead. So that it might even be like a 3 to 4 day delay. Because especially with Yulissa, that's a good example here. Like if we go off of like, they probably already started filming, and you know, she left day 3, I think, in the villa. So like they were 3 days ahead, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I also 2 last things before I want to talk about the cast really quick. But I also want to talk about two different things for people that might just be watching for the first time. It is very normal. Do not worry if you watch this show initially and go, "Oh, I don't like this. This is They start off with a big musical number. It's very flashy. It's very fun. It's very kitschy and pop art, and it's very camp. And they did a big one this season with Ariana. I loved it, but I know people that weren't ready for it were like, what the hell is this? And they don't realize that over the course of 6 weeks it becomes more of a character study. Even I went into this season, the first episode, and I was like, I liked it, but I wasn't like locked in yet, because I think they had such a strong season 6 that part of the hurdle for Love Island is when you have such a big season, how do you get people already not disappointed that it's not season 6? You know?
Well, also too, so like before I went on Love Island, I got the call in March, and I never watched the full season of Love Island. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes before I applied. And I was like, I need to go watch the show back. And I watched season 1 all the way through. Then I started season 2. And whenever I started a new season, I was like, gosh, I missed some of those really old cast members that I spent like the past 2 weeks falling in love with. Like I liked all their relationships, and now I got to start over again. And, you know, season 6 blew up in a way where people are still watching Janae's YouTube content or Leah's Instagram or TikTok content.
They're still infatuated with those, you know, people right now.
They're your cast. Like all of a sudden,
but it's because they're also still so relevant. Even a year from now, they're doing Maybelline campaigns. They're doing Dunkin' Donut commercials. You're seeing them on your screen. So it's like, when do you know, eventually get comfortable with like, oh, okay, these are season 7 people now.
Exactly. Like, and for me, I will say that took place on the 3rd episode. The first 2 episodes, I was like, it didn't feel like homework per se, but I wasn't like, first I was just excited for it to come on. It was 40 minutes late on the Peacock app. I was pissed. And then I was like, I got a life to lead. I got so many shows to watch. And then the second episode, I was like, okay, 3rd episode, I got into it. That was Thursday night's episode. We're doing this on Friday before Friday night's episode airs, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, next week. So then I was like, okay, now I'm kind of getting into this. So I just want to tell the audience at home, if you're trying this for the first time, it will eventually switch for you where you will get interested. No matter how dumb you think these people are, or how amazing these people are, you will have that switch. So I thought that's just an interesting phenomenon with Love Island, especially.
And
it is.
Also, too, I don't think like season 6 started to blow up until the Andrea dumping. And that was like, what, 9 episodes in? And then
people went back and caught up and stuff like. So I think this is the most people are watching from the jump. So that's really interesting. So before we actually get into the storyline, Bergie, this is not on your outline, but can we just go over some of the cast really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So first we have Chelly, and Chelly is 27 from Florida. Chelly is already one of my favorites. So what do you guys think of Chelly?
I think she's doing a great job so far.
I agree. I think she's very mature and she's well-spoken.
Mm-hmm. And she's bisexual. They've made a big point of letting us know she's bisexual.
Oh, she's a bisexual. I did not know that.
Well, so on the the 3rd episode, they're always in some game where it almost inadvertently seems like production is trying to slut shame people on the island, and they're like, "How many people have you slept with? How many? Like, have you cheated? Have you done all like really personal questions?"
Yeah.
So,
Chelly. It's always the 3rd episode. It's always the first 3 episodes.
So that's what we got with there. So Chelly already to me is a favorite. Huda, coulda, shoulda. Huda, what do you guys think of Huda?
Oh my God. She's already like full in a relationship within 2 days of being there. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this is like.
She scares me. She scares me only because I truly do think if you are a mother and you have a child, you should be going on to the island and being like, listen, I'm 24. My name's Huda. I'm a mother. I'm proud of, you know, my baby girl that I have or whatever. And it should not be a discussion a secret where it's like, I have a child.
And just dropping
the bomb. And it's like, I feel like she is almost maybe like a little bit of a, I guess, like gaslighter type of way. Not gaslighter, but I don't know. I feel like she went around that situation very weird because you shouldn't be asking an approval from a man because you're a mother. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I totally agree with. So Huda is already paired up with Jeremiah, who we'll get to in a second. And Huda is, she lets one of the female islanders know on the first day that, hey, I have a child, but I don't want to reveal it to everybody yet. I kind of just want to see how things go. And we see in episode 3, that was Thursday night, where she finally does reveal it to Jeremiah, which is potentially 3 days late. Now, from her perspective, it's one of those things that made me kind of sad because I don't want anybody thinking that they can't be loved because they have a kid. Also, a lot of people have talked about, well, if you have like a 5 or 6 year old and you're spending 6 weeks potentially in Fiji, I mean, what does that say potentially? I'm not one of those people. I'm like, go live your life, find love. Yeah. By the way, this is a huge opportunity. Maybe you will have Maybelline brand deals next year and you can provide for your family. But it also seems like she does want to find love. And that's why it's dangerous in a sense to somebody like Jeremiah, who had a potentially poor reaction. But if you think about it, what kind of reaction would you have if all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm falling in love and I might be a dad? Like, that's a big thing for Jeremiah. Even like in like a movie world, you would want to be like, great, and we'll raise it to be the best daughter ever. It's like, he doesn't know if he even likes her yet, like fully.
I know. It drops a bomb on Jeremiah. It's like, oh gosh, now if I don't do this, is America going to hate me? It's like, I'm also 22 years old. I don't want to be a father yet. Like, this is a big.
I wish he had looked up at the camera like Jim Halpert in The Office, being like, "You guys see it? You guys seeing this? Can you believe this?" And I mean, but I will say it's a great reality show moment, and I'm so happy that Hutta did it in the third night as opposed to 10 nights in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
agreed.
The thing is, too, the bombshells are gonna know when they come in because they're gonna see the first couple episodes. Like it. These next bombshells coming in probably don't know, but the bombshells after that, they wouldn't know that Hood is a mother.
Oh, folks, so if you don't know, bombshells are people like other contestants that they bring in throughout the course of the show. They call them bombshells. We've had 2 bombshells come in at, I believe, the end of the first episode, beginning of the second, and we have no new bombshells, but they keep filtering in new hot men and women to tempt and to steal and to partner up with people. So that was Hutta, who I think will, be a big character all season, potentially, depending on how long she lasts. And then we get to Bella, which is BELLE-A. Can I do RYA-N? Like, can we all do that to our name? I never have seen a dash like used that way with a name. Have you?
No.
K-LOR.
K-LOR.
No,
yeah.
never seen it.
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, I was like, Belle. Anyways, Bella's from Hawaii, and she seems very pure and innocent. I was watching a TikTok that made me laugh, saying that they described her personality as somebody that potentially was very affected by COVID, and like, because this is somebody that seems like they're glued to their phone because they're speaking in TikTok speak.
Yeah, she's lingo. Like, lit, party. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You feel me, dog? Yeah. So
it's very TikTok lingo.
And she's only 22 years old. She's 22 years old. So
she's so young. She's so young.
Yeah,
too.
She's a baby, and she's beautiful. And then we have Olandria. Olandria is 27 years old from Alabama, and she's a social member coordinator. I don't even know what that is. What do we think of Olandria?
She's doing great, and like she stands on business, and honestly, like she will call people out if she thinks like they're crossing a line, but she's also able to acknowledge if she thinks she's crossed the line, which I think is very important.
Because there was a moment between Olandria and Hutta, which we'll talk about, that happened, I think, at the end of the second episode, which was a moment that ended up getting diffused in the third episode. But yeah, it does seem like she stands on business. What do you think, Taylor?
I feel like she is a very well-spoken woman, and I think that when she has an opinion, she's gonna stand on business with it.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have the fallen Islander, Yulissa Escobar. She was removed from Love Island. They did it in a
I think she's canceled, Ryan. I think
Well, and by the way, she's already released an apology statement right before we started talking today, but she was removed from the villa, and Ian Sterling, the announcer, was like, Yulissa's no longer joining us. It was just like, and they moved on. They never said anything more about it. I wanted to ask you guys, since you were there, was there anything that happened? You don't even have to give specifics, but was there anything that was like, did producers ever go like, hey, here's what's going on, but you can't say anything on camera or on mic?
No,
well,
I don't think so, right?
Okay, so we ran into something like no longer allowed to talk about that. Nothing happened. Like it never happened. And then if they hear you talking about it, you can hear your name over the speaker. Bergie, stop talking. You can't talk about that anymore. Like you listen, never happened. Like it's over. Like so, it never happened.
Taylor, there's a big brother voice on the microphone that will call you out if you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, so basically, if you hear that voice, that is your key to shut the fuck up. Because they will come. I think someone literally, like, I think he said when we were in the villa was like, I brought you in and I can take you out.
Wow. Oh my God. Is it the same voice all the time, or are there switched off voices?
No.
Voice of God. No.
Yeah. We called them the Love Island God.
Love Island God.
It's the voice of the Love Island God. So there's jokes about this too. You're like, Taylor said this in her intro. Love Island God, help me find my man. And it's a speaker.
Oh, I love that.
So there's a little insight. If you ever hear Love Island God, they're talking about the production team.
Okay, perfect. So Sierra is one of the bombshells. She's from LA. She's 25 years old. She came in at the end of night 1, beginning of day 2. And she is already making a big splash, which we'll talk about. And then we have Ace Green. Ace is 22 years old. He's a content creator from Los Angeles. What do you guys think of Ace?
I love him.
He loves him. I think he's fun. He reminds me, who was a guy in the first Iron Man movie that was the Air Force guy?
Oh, Don Cheadle?
What was it?
Don Cheadle?
Maybe. He reminds me of that actor in a way, for whatever reason.
I think it's Don Cheadle, yeah. But I mean, the only complaint I have, like, Ace seems like he's auditioning to be a host. Like and by the way, and I don't even mean that, I don't think he's like, but I just think he has that kind of host-like ability where he's like, hey, he's like super friendly, he's super charismatic, he's super like, he pops on camera. My only complaint is he's going to regret all those tattoos. They're all like, he has ACE on his back. He has Jesus on one, he has Jesus up here. He has, I think, a picture of him as a baby on his like right chest. On the left chest is a lion. It's all like completely choreographed, all of his tattoos on his body, where I'm like, you can't get any more now. There's no space left. This is like an art project, and you're eventually, I'm like, I always think about it like there was like Old Navy would have like fall collections. Like you're going to like 5 years from now, that might not be in, Ace, and you've done everything already.
Well, yeah. One of my favorite artists is Ed Sheeran. He ran out of canvas because he got so many tattoos, and he's like, now I want like my daughter's tattoo. Like he wants something with his daughter on him. So now he's getting tattoos removed to get new tattoos on him.
Oh, it's a vicious cycle. Taylor Williams is our next. He's 24. He's our good old boy, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He's a cowboy. What did you guys think of Taylor so far?
I'm enjoying him. We will get into it. There's a moment where I'm like, what the hell are you doing, kid? Like, yeah. Why did you stand up? Like, so we'll get into that later. But other than that, I think he's a fun addition to the show.
Okay, Nicholas, who seems to be in the Rob role, or what they're trying to make him like the Rob, the one that everybody wants. I personally don't see it. He's 24 from Jacksonville, Florida. He's a registered nurse and model. Is he a registered model or just a registered nurse? Who knows? But he is all the girls seem to really think he's very cute. And then when he talks, it's just kind of basic for me. Like, I mean, yeah. Taylor, do you see, like, I always watch Love Island specifically, and it's another example of how women in packs, you're just like, oh my God, like they're talking about real feelings and emotions. And then when guys in packs, they're talking to her like, oh man, she's not feeling me. And I'm not, it's like completely gobbledygook compared to like the women's conversations where they're talking about emotions and like like the feelings behind things. And then you have like this guy and he's like, I like Shrek. Shrek's good.
Yeah, no, he's very mid for me. Like I'm not getting any entertainment out of him. I think he'll be gone soon.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Big.
I don't think he's going anywhere. He's stirring the pot. He's stirring the pot.
Also, well, I haven't caught up on this last episode. So.
Behind one.
But by the way, he's stirring the pot because of his inaction and like him telling two girls like.
Oh, was he telling like one girl one thing and another girl the other thing?
Belle-A, he was telling one thing, and then the bombshell.
The bombshell.
He was telling another.
We'll get into it.
Okay. Couple more people. Austin Shepard. Now he's 26 from Michigan. He's a pool cleaner. What do you guys think of Austin?
Honestly, like you were saying, Nick was replacing Rob. I get Austin replacing Rob more than I see Nick replacing Rob because he had that frog story in episode 1. But besides the fact that he's not finding like a couple right now, I'm just kind of like waiting to see what he's going to do in the villa because there's not much he's doing right now.
Taylor, what did you think? I know you haven't seen the 3rd episode, but your first impressions.
I feel like I've enjoyed watching him. I feel like I do see a resemblance of him with Bergie because he doesn't really know.
How dare you? Oh, okay. You're talking about the innocence.
You haven't seen the third episode. His body count's insane.
Oh
yeah. This guy was
on 6 guys.
Six guys?
Or 6 girls. 6 girls.
Six girls. Yeah, I mean, we love a bi king, but he is not bi.
Yeah, I was like, I missed all of this.
He has an insanely high body count, and he's not proud of it. He's like, it's kind of normal. Nobody else had that high of a body count. But my thing, how dare you say that about Bergie? Because I think Bergie, he can put sentences together. This guy, I don't even know how he got on the plane to Fiji. He's like, and his voice is like, what's going on? It's like a lighter voice. I don't know. This guy, and I'm even taking the social media out of it because here's another guy that people dug up his social media. Whatever about that, but just based of what I'm seeing, it seems like it's almost like he's like 8 years old in a sense.
Yeah, well, I think he's also just nervous. Like, he came into the villa and he's like, I'm just nervous right now. And I think you're seeing that, and I think he doesn't know how to handle the place he's in right now, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think he's felt the spark with any of the girls right now, and if he has, we haven't seen it. And he seems lost.
And I think he might be lost in real life. That might be a correct assumption.
I was like, I don't know, these characters. Maybe I'm like, I haven't seen too much of Austin, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, get ready. 2 more. Jeremiah Brown. He was the one paired up with Huda, who, it was revealed in the final episode that she was a mother, 25 from LA. He's a model, real smooth criminal, but seems like a nice guy so far. What did you guys think? Or Bergie, what did you think of Jeremiah?
I think he's definitely like a nice guy, but he's in a tough spot, and like no matter what he does, I'm not going to blame whatever decision he does, whether he wants to stay with Huda.
No.
Like you can't blame the guy because it's like you can't expect like being a mother. I feel like, or that's like a first almost conversation because it's a lot to take in, and it's like you can't blame someone for dropping out because they aren't ready to raise a child.
And on the same token, just along with the hate, I don't think Huda should get hate. It's like, yeah, I wish she had been open from the first day, but like that's her decision. And I don't think she should get like a bucket full of hate because I'm sure she's very confused about being there and what her, I'm sure it just is a lot more in her mind about being a mother. But I thought Taylor's comment about, being proud of being a mother instead of asking for a man's approval, that is something that bums me out. But I think that is how like the patriarchy works, is that you do sometimes end up asking stupid men for permission. Finally, our last bombshell, Charlie Georgiou, 27 from the UK, British accent, handsome guy. He was the other bombshell. Any comments about him?
Okay, have you ever seen Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
He does.
Okay, have you seen, Jamie Tart?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
He is Jamie Tart. Like, he talks like him. He resembles him. Like, it is great. I wrote that down right away. I'm like, this guy is Jamie Tart.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So that's our cast so far. Like I said, there'll be more bombshells. We'll be taking people away, but that's who we start with. Now, Bergie, back to your notes.
Okay. So first thing I want to start with is just Yulisa. Obviously, internet footprint is huge now, and I do think people are like, are the casting people not looking into their footprint? And I definitely think they did, and I think this was just so buried that I don't know what the casting team, like how many people are on the casting team and like how many applications they get. So let's say there's like 50 people on the casting team, but like once they release the cast, there's millions of people digging for everything to find what they can find about these Islanders. And it's just, it's dug in there. Like, I don't know who found this podcast clip. I heard a rumor that the podcast clip came from one of Ulyss's friends and they leaked it on the internet. That's a rumor that I've heard.
So you heard a rumor that one of Ulyss's friends who was jealous that she didn't get on Love Island was actually the one that leaked this. And just so I'm sure you guys are aware, but if not, she was on a podcast saying racial slurs repeatedly on a podcast that got uncovered. And my question though, they do check your digital footprint, but obviously not as much as a million people can do. My fear though, my question was, is there any stretch of the imagination that producers know and will put you on there because they know that we'll find out and there'll be a big hubbub and we'll be talking about it?
What do you think?
Honestly, that's a great question because I feel like if they knew, then they wouldn't have put someone on the show and then taken him off so quickly.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that one.
I do wonder, God, those are the conversations I would love to know behind the scenes of like what they're talking about, what their decision was, what that conversation with her was. I am big on, there's no room to hate in the fashion or racial slurs, in my opinion, but it also does bring up race and ethnicity. And Taylor, can you speak to that about, we have a multiracial cast here, and I think that also is what America is. But what was your experience with that?
I mean, like, honestly, like, because he's the one who sent it to me. So when I saw it, I was just like, oh my gosh. And my only thing is like, if you are not in African American descent, then you have no right to be saying racial slurs. Like, point blank, period. Like, African Americans are the only people that really know, like, exactly like what they went through back in the day with slavery and everything, like, and that is just something that is just it just crosses the line. And it's like,
but for me, that's such an easy thing to accept. And I think that comes from my privileged white person background that I'm like, but like certain people seem to think that they should be able to say like, oh, that's freedom of speech. That's not freedom of speech. Like, that's not what freedom of speech really means. Freedom of speech is really, I can talk shit about Jax Taylor all I want. In fact, that's the only person
that's freedom of speech.
Legally hate. But yeah, I mean, and the other thing to you guys, were you asked to stay away from any sort of political conversation in the villa? Because that was my question, is that, I was like, wow, well, maybe this could be like a teachable moment with the cast and we could actually have, and then I'm like, well, that's not really what Love Island is about. It's about like flirting and like, how deep do the conversations get in the villa that we don't see?
I was going to say, we actually talked about politics when we were in the villa. Like, we talked about both of our political sides.
Was the voice of God like, stop talking about this?
We never got that. Yeah, we never got that. Oh, also, we were in the pool, so our mics were off. So yeah.
That's right.
There's hacks to like have.
So if you go in the pool, you have to take your mic pack off.
Yeah,
so they won't get clean audio.
Oh, that's they probably never heard that conversation. We had a 3-hour conversation in the pool.
So, by the way, just to remind you, Rob had a great scene last year when he like hid, like he dove into the pool and then like hid underneath a pool structure so they couldn't like find him or hear him. It was like so funny that this dude did that.
And it's him taking off his mic like it's a
dumps in. Well, but I'm saying they don't discourage you from having those conversations.
No, and I think, it would be interesting if they showed political conversations in the villa and like, because it is an American thing, like half our population voted for a man and half our population voted for a woman. And I think it would be interesting to have those conversations because that's what relationships are in the real world.
Or would it be scary as hell? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It could go both ways.
It definitely would be scary because you have people that are coming for, I guess, people on this season being like, oh, well, we don't stand any MAGA or any of that, like, in the villa. And it's like, everyone it deserves their own opinion, is and entitled to their own opinion, and what their political views is like their political views. So I feel like it would be scary.
I think it'd be scary because I feel like you would really quickly find out like who's educated about things and who isn't. And I think politics is that big schism where you realize you're in a conversation with people that like have just heard conspiracy theories their whole life, that don't know actual facts and that don't know actually what government does. And that's the thing that I would be interested, yet, oh my God, that would be scary as hell. And just to Austin, who we were talking about before, he was the other guy that they went on his social and they found out a bunch of things that he didn't post, but he was reposting, I believe, on TikTok that was filled with conspiracy theories and really dark stuff where I'm like, oh my God, half of this, like the majority of the stuff he was reposting is like patently false and you can prove that it's false. And yet that like so that's the thing that I'm like, yeah, I guess Love Island isn't going to have those conversations on it.
And the other thing is too, like, from my Love Island therapist, I've learned a lot going on to Love Island. There's so many people that are raised differently, have different opinions because they grew up differently.
Yeah,
and
of course.
It's such a learning moment going into a different culture. So it's like there's like a lot of learning moments that could occur on Love Island, and it would be interesting if they showed, people learning and about politics or whatnot on the show if they wanted to go that route. Obviously, it's supposed to be like a fun, lighthearted show about guys are terrible. They're always going to be cheating and Casa, and then we get the Casa guys. They're it's like what is with these Casa men? Why aren't they as good as the Casa girls? Get our girls, whatever. But it's what it is.
Yeah. Wait, what is you have a note in here, backstory of Austin's tattoo.
Oh, so I've heard that the tattoo is from Archer, and it's one of the girls from Archer.
The comic series, the cartoon?
The cartoon. It's like an Adult Swim cartoon. So I saw that somewhere. It's a Adult Swim cartoon character. And then also the last thing before we get into episode 1, I saw there was a thing about Jeremiah was talking to someone before he went into the villa.
Oh.
Yeah. But like talking, they weren't like even dating yet. And I
would figure that most of these guys are like heavily talking to women in their DMs and all of that stuff before.
Yeah. Were you talking to someone before you?
Yeah, Bergie.
No, I was not.
Wow. Pull this clip if we find out Bergie's lying at a later date.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I know. I had to I said no more. I wasn't talking to anyone because I knew I was getting flown to Fiji.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I deleted I was like, I'm not having like a Hinge or Tinder date prevent me from going on Love Island. So like, I think in March I was like, yep, no more Tinder or Hinge.
Yeah, but in North Dakota, how many Hinge Tinder dates can you have?
So in South Dakota, this is actually something I said during my interview process. When I was sliding through Tinder, I think I had like 40 swipes of like yes, no, yes, no. I did about 40 of those, and then in my 100-mile radius, there was nobody else.
Wow.
So it didn't take long to go through everybody.
So you kind of needed to go to Love Island just to meet people. Like that's
I had to meet Taylor. I had to go meet Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay. And just one curious question too, because I've heard or read a lot of the lore of having sex in the villa. Is that people have snuck it, people have and do they tell you, do they advise you? Do they provide condoms? What do they tell you about sexual relations?
They definitely provide you condoms in the hideaway.
In the hideaway, yeah.
But not...
They would give you condoms if you were going to have sex. They definitely would.
But you would have to ask for them.
Yeah, you would have to ask for them.
And I truly think any people on our season did not ask for them.
So there was no voice of God going, no, dude, you gotta wrap it up. What are you doing? Yeah.
Love Island God does not leave Love Island.
We do not have sex in the villa.
No.
I wasn't asking about you in particular, but I'm just saying what they I was just curious of when you're training to be on the show, do they say, hey, we don't encourage this, but if this happens, this.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they do.
There was times where we would make out under the covers, and then they would come talk to us. They're like, "Hey, we saw you were making out under the covers. Was it consensual? Are you uncomfortable?"
Oh wow, that's really good. That's really good to hear. All joking aside, because the worst thing would be to have a psychotic person in there that all of a sudden you know what I'm saying? Like a psychotic situation that they haven't properly vetted. So that's kind of amazing. But
you also take a 2-hour psych evaluation before you get to go, they call you to go on the show.
Yeah. Well, how was Bergie able to get on then?
I failed mine. I had to retake it.
Wait, stop. Taylor, what? Taylor, what?
I think I failed mine.
Wait, how do you fail a psych of it? Is it? Wait.
No, babe,
the questions were hard.
Babe, there was 2 of them. You didn't fail one. You got to take 2 of them.
Oh, there was 2 of them.
You're like, they said I'm crazy. I don't know.
Well, the worst thing is, so I had to do these psych evals that were 3 hours long before I went into Love Island. And I did that in June, probably. But then I had to go on Traitors, and I had to do the same psych eval that was 3 hours of A, B, C, D.
It's so long.
So you already knew the answers. Wait, but they told you that you failed it, and then
no, that's what I thought. They said I had to do it again.
No, there was 2 different psych evals.
Oh,
so you just did one, and then you did the other.
Amazing. Okay, amazing. Well, I think you're very sane, so I think we're in safe.
Very sane.
Speaking that reminded me, Yulissa is also not the first person to get the edit of Yulissa has left the villa. This has happened
before
in 2 other seasons, season 3 and season 4, where someone just
got the boot,
and there's no explanation. Because I remember watching it and I go, wait, like you go 2 episodes later and you go, where did this person go? And then you go back and you hear the narrator go, this person has left the villa. And then it just starts their day. Like it just randomly disappeared. So this isn't the first time this has happened either for reasons.
Well, I'll be curious to hear any other things that we get. But yeah, just so you know, Yulisa put out a statement apologizing for these comments and saying that she's learned a lot, I guess, in the last 48 hours. But she is no longer on Love Island USA. So let's move on to thoughts about episode 1, Bergie, that were in your notes.
This was a standard first Love Island episode like that that we've seen before. I do like that they kept the structure from season 6 again, where you're not just running out there and coupling up right away. Like you don't even get to have a conversation with people because it's so awkward to just run out there and go, let's go, and stand there and like, am I going to get coupled up or not? I like that they give them time because they probably got like 2 hours that we didn't see to have conversations before they stood on those wooden hearts and coupled up. So I'm glad that they're doing that again. Yes, and then some big moments from episode 1 was Huda not discussing she has a child with Jeremiah when there was a perfect opportunity. Like they were talking about bedrooms in her apartment. It's like, oh, what's that other bedroom for? And it was just like that awkward silence. And like,
yeah, just explain what Bergie, if you haven't watched the show, is that she talked about having a second room where obviously it's her daughter's room. And there was this like, well, what is that room? And it could have been talked about then, but it wasn't. You actually have a note here saying was this a gameplay move or production? What does that mean?
Yeah. So how do you say your name? I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
I'm Ryan. Oh, Huda.
Huda. Okay. Huda. Like this is like a perfect move for her not to tell anybody, to make sure she can stay in the villa longer, because if she starts telling people, that's her storyline. This is her big storyline. And once that gets told, she can be replaced by another Islander because the story's been told, the drama's happened. Like her holding on to the secret and waiting to tell Jeremiah has kept her in the villa longer. And if she would have kept this a secret and not have told anybody in the villa, like the girls right away, she could have kept the secret a long time, and production would have kept her in there because as viewers, we would have been waiting for this ticking time bomb to go off.
So you're saying that maybe since she's revealed it, now they have no use for her?
Well, no, she's become a very big character. But if she would have not told anybody, she could have made it super far, because as a production person, I'm like, oh my gosh, like imagine if we're on episode 28 and she still hasn't told Jeremiah. I want to see her tell Jeremiah eventually. And
the whole everyone knows that she has a kid too.
Yeah, so it's just like, imagine tuning in 20 episodes from now. But now that isn't in there. But that could have been a good gameplay move for us as viewers and for her to make it far in this season.
He's a gamer.
I'm a gamer. You can tell. I mean, I know from just talking to Bergie about Traitors, very in that game. And how many contestants are there like they're trying to get to the end for the prize pot as opposed to finding love?
Well, on my season, I think I was the only one that actually watched Love Island before going on, besides a couple other people.
I've never seen it.
She never saw it. Everyone else there.
She's like, I barely passed the psych test.
And I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, we got 2 bombshells coming in today.
He would be there every day, being like, I think we're getting a recoupling tonight, and be next thing up, our Sarah Hyland walks in, and we're all gathered by the fire pit. Everyone's like, Bergie, what's happening next?
There's always like a couple of the. I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it Serena or Janae that like had watched all the
seasons last year, and she knew everything. And you know what's funny is, I think production sees that and they're like, okay, maybe these guys are good game players. Let's get them on another show. Like that's why Janae probably got Destination X.
Oh, maybe that's why you got Traitors. Yeah,
and that's why I got Traitors. Potentially
interesting.
I like to think that.
Okay, so also in terms of the villa, we have some new locations. We have a sauna, which I'm like, weird. They want people to sweat more, and they have a photo booth.
The photo booth I'm jealous about.
The photo booth is cool.
Yeah, they have a photo booth, a sauna, but it's like the same villa that we've seen before. Everybody sleeps in the same room. We also, on that first episode, we had a kissing challenge. That's where we see Bella not kissing on the mouth, but on the cheek. And, this is also when they initially coupled up, correct?
Yes. Right after
So what are the coupling ups for people so they know?
Yes. So we had Bella and Nick, Huda and Jeremiah.
Huda and Jeremiah.
Austin and Shelly.
Austin and Shelly.
Ace and Olandria.
No, Ace
No.
and Ulyssa.
Ulyssa.
Yeah, he's
That's
managed
right.
to
And then Taylor
and Olandria.
Yeah, to Cowboy.
That was the original 5 couples.
Those were the 5 couples that were paired up. The kissing challenge, like I said, is very fun. It's, I guess, the creepiest icebreaker ever, and everybody's kissing everybody. But I mean, that was pretty much. It was an hour and 41-minute episode, but not an insane amount happened in that hour and 41.
Yeah, I felt it dragged a little too much too. I don't know. It's always a tough first episode for Love Island. It's just no matter what. Like if you don't know the characters before going in, like I think any first episode for a lot of reality TV shows is sometimes hard to get through.
And I thought Ariana did a great job. Obviously a fan of the show, so that's always amazing to see.
She looked amazing, beautiful as always.
Looked amazing. The other thing too, and you saw this with Ulyssa, who's now gone, but you also see this with Huda a little bit, is how it's got to be very humid there. Like, you're just seeing like glisten and sweat, and like my forehead would be so shiny. Like, how concerning is that for the women in particular in the villa?
Oh, I definitely was like always worried about because they always are they get this close. The cameras are always this close to your forehead.
And they're HD cameras.
Yeah, they literally, and they're HD cameras. So I was always worried of like, oh God, how close are they going to get where you can see my sweat glands and everything?
And you don't get to see yourself on camera ever. They're not showing you video, are they?
And Ryan, my hair didn't work with my gel with the humidity. So like, if you go back, my hair is like this. You see me like dipping into the hideaway, and I look like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, now when I watch it back, I'm like, sorry, babe. Why did no one tell me like I needed a new hair gel with the humidity, or get me a new hair gel? Because my hair was like this half the time. I'm like, guys, I would have liked to know that like I needed to fix my hair.
Taylor, we see all of the like the bathrooms like have all of these products and all this stuff where the girls like will confer and stuff. Are those all like free products that you use? Like you don't bring your own. They provide everything.
So I mean, you definitely bring your own makeup. However, they have every product that you see in like the girls' dressing room is all up for grabs. So pimple patches, some they had Maybelline like bring in like mascaras, lip glosses.
Did you steal a bunch and take it home with you?
Yeah.
I stole the hideaway condoms because I thought it was funny.
Oh, creep. What a creep. Oh my God. Okay, so that was episode 1. Let's move to episode 2 already. And what are the big highlights in your opinion of episode 2?
Well, yeah, I thought episode 1 was a standard episode. Right away we get Sierra and Nick go to the hideaway. And right away.
So Sierra is the bombshell that comes in at the end of episode 1, you guys. And Nick was already paired up with Bella A or Belle-A. And then Sierra comes in, the bombshell, and goes, hey, I want Nick, right?
Yeah. Also, I want to add too, I will say this season, they added in a lot of influencers. If you've noticed, because like Sierra, she already had a following on TikTok. Ace, he had a following. Taylor had a following. Like they were all people that were influential in some way. Because Sierra, I looked at her TikTok and she was already at 70K followers.
Well, it's always interesting to see, like, especially season 6, where they start with their Instagram and where they end. This is that information. Chelly went in there with 25,000 followers. Bella went in with 21,000 followers. Ulyssa went in with 59,000 followers. Huda went in with 135,000 followers. Wow. Olandria went in with 27,000 followers. Ace went in with 793,000 followers. Austin, 4.7. Nicholas, 20
million?
No, 4,000.
Oh,
yeah, he's not like the president. Yeah, come on. Nicholas, 23,400. Taylor, 22,100, and Jeremiah, 9,800. So that's the starting.
Yeah. Okay, those are the starting.
Yeah. And like that's already insane considering like people in our season, I had 500 followers, or how many did you have? Do you remember?
When I came out of the villa, I only had like 4,000 followers.
Oh yeah, when she came out of the villa, she had 4,000 followers at the end of the show. Like that's how much the change. Like now, if you finish the show, going off last year, like they all had at least 500,000 followers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like it was, but that changes. Like the Bachelor franchise used to get on The Bachelor and you'd immediately get 1 million followers. That's like really dissipated. Same thing with Bravo, but I think Love Island is the big now follower generator, you know?
Yep.
Do you think The Bachelor is over?
No, they'll find a way to keep, like, they're doing Bachelor in Paradise again. Golden Bachelor did decent, and they're doing another season of that. But they are going to have to reinvent in some way. And I don't, it's just, it's something that I've like not, I went back and watched Golden Bachelor because I kind of dug that format, but I didn't watch this past season of The Bachelor. I probably won't watch the next season. They got to find a way to make it exciting and different,
Yeah, they got to reinvent the wheel somehow.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had Ciara and Nick. They went to the Hideaway, and you said Nick doesn't know what Avatar the Airbender is.
Yeah, because it looked like Ciara was all excited about Avatar the Airbender, and then Nick's like, "Oh, you like Avatar the Last Airbender?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then what was it? He said, "Oh yeah, it's my favorite show too." And then she's like, "Oh, you could be this person, and I could be this person." And she was like, "Are they in a couple?" Like he had no idea. And it was like the main characters of Avatar The Last Airbender. So he has no idea.
Was this the episode where they had the conversation about Shrek?
That was episode 3. This is episode 2 in the Hideaway.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so Nick doesn't seem to be like this mental powerhouse. It's like he's just kind of shy and doesn't really know.
Go with the flow.
He knows how to play the game for a quick little get in, get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay for the long run.
Okay, so then we have Charlie, who's the other bombshell, and Chelly. They go to the Hideaway as well, correct?
Yep. I didn't really pick up anything from them, but we'll get into it later. But I was surprised that Shelly didn't stand up for Charlie when we get to that later at the end of episode 2.
Well, what the Hideaway, guys, is a separate space that they can go and like stay the night in, correct?
Yes.
And it's just for those 2 people. Like it's excluding all the other Islanders.
Well, this year they had 4.
4 people in the Hideaway?
Yeah, they had the 2 couples go in there. The 2 bombshells took 2 people in there.
I haven't seen a lot.
Yeah.
So that already happened, and then we have you have Bella and Austin alone in the villa together.
And I thought this would be a good gameplay time for Austin or Bella to go talk to each other and be like, "Hey, like if our couple doesn't go back, like come back to us. Maybe we should couple up so that way we know we're safe, and maybe like." Sparks will fly later on, but like at least now we can guarantee our safety for a little bit.
I just find it hard to think like who's going to have sparks with Austin. Like this guy is working with a whole different deck. For me, like watching it just like he doesn't seem like he seems nice. Like nobody seems scared of him, but it just seems like he's on like I don't know. I'm very curious about what his path forward is.
Yeah, I am too, and I know some of his backstory, so I'm hoping we get to see more of that going forward, and he comes out a little bit out of his shell. Because right now I feel like he's in a shell, but he could. Hopefully, he's not a dud. Hopefully, he comes out and he shows some of his storyline before he gets eliminated.
Yeah, well, what's his backstory?
Well, I don't want to share it until maybe we get to see it.
Okay, got it. So. They're alone in the villa together, but no gameplay was had. And then you have Huda getting attached to Jeremiah, who eventually in the 3rd episode, she finally tells she has a child. What was your line here? I love your line.
Oh, yeah, I said Huda is getting attached to Jeremiah faster than hydrogen ions attached to each other when freezing. Because
Dinger!
Yeah, whoa!
Because just like the way Jeremiah gets pulled for a conversation with Ciara, and then you have Huda going to like scout out their conversation to make sure it's going well and to see like make eye contact with Jeremiah. Like she's concerned to a point where it's like, okay, like it's only day 2. Like you don't have to be all over each other right now. Like let him go explore relationships right now. It's only the 2nd day. And
so that's the thing. You don't want to like, couple off, and you want to keep your options open potentially. And, and that's what I think Jeremiah says in the 3rd episode, even before he finds out, or maybe one of the guys says, yeah, like, I don't want to already like, just like close off entirely. I mean, we're just a couple days into this thing.
Yeah. And it already seems like they're closed off at this point.
Yeah, exactly. What's the next thing?
Nick needs to choose between Bella and Ciara, and it's so obvious the way Nick is talking to Bella that he is fully into Ciara. And it's just had me eye rolling. I'm like, dude, you obviously
he was like, I don't know, man. Like, it's crazy. I think they're both great girls, but, and he's like 50-50. I don't know. But yeah, he's obviously into Ciara.
Yeah, it's like, it's a 90-10. It's like, dude, you really like Ciara, but you're just not
also
admitting it to yourself.
Ciara has like a tooth gem.
She does.
A tooth. Well, I didn't even know, like, tooth gem. Like, it's not even a grill. It's just like a little gem on her tooth.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, she does. Yeah, Mary. Mary has one. One of
my best friends. She has 3 like diamonds, tooth gems.
Yeah, I was like, whoa! Like, look at that jewel in her mouth. Okay, so Nick is in a love triangle that's not really a love triangle, and then we had Charlie going after Chelly.
Yep, and then we get the bombshell recoupling right after that, and I'm like, Shelly, why did you not stand up? Because it's obvious, like, I feel like she does like Charlie more than Austin, at least, but I was kind of shocked that she didn't stand up. And I feel like she never talked to Austin. At least we didn't see it in the episode, her talking to Austin at all. So I understood why Austin stood up. He's like, oh, well, I got no other option right now. Like, I might as well stand up. But I was shocked that Shelly did not stand up to have the potential to recouple up with Charlie.
So basically what happens, you guys, if you didn't watch, is they do this recoupling ceremony and the bombshells are up there and literally pretty much every guy except for Jeremiah gets up to potentially have a chance with Ciara. And, I think the girls are a little shocked. Jeremiah stays with Huda, but every other guy is up there. So it's really awkward and it's like a bummer for some of the ladies. And especially we had that little moment then with Alandria and Huda. What was that moment?
Okay, I'll let you speak on your opinion first.
Okay.
And then I'll play off of it because we actually had different opinions on this.
We did. So I felt that Alandria, the way she came off was kind of rude and just like really harsh. But I thought it was because like she was like jealous because Huda had a man. Where it's like we're kind of just like at that grown age where it's like, okay, why can't we be happy for you? You have a man. And then obviously Huda said that like we need better men because like I don't like this for my girls or whatever. So like I felt it was kind of harsh and I felt like it came off rude, but he had a different perspective as well. So
yeah, well, I understood where Alandria was coming from with Huda. It felt like almost Huda could have been rubbing it in their face that she actually has a man, but also at the same time, Huda's worried about her man because she's like scouting out her conversation. So I understood where Alandria was coming from with, like just feeling like Huda's just rubbing it in my face right now that she has a couple and I don't.
See, I thought it looked, to me, it was surprised me about Alandria's reaction. It seemed like an overreaction that I didn't necessarily understand in that moment. And I will say it gets immediately diffused in the 3rd episode when they talk with each other and Alandria realizes that Huda's crying about her in that situation. But I was confused because I was like, I didn't know necessarily. I didn't take it as Huda rubbing that in her face at all.
Me neither.
So, obviously their second night in the villa, a lot of intense emotions, but I didn't see that. I was like, Alandria, why aren't you just mad at your dude that wants to go up there recoupling instead of anything to do with Huda?
I felt like she took it out on Huda when she should have took it out on the man and because at the end of the day, it's like Huda was actually standing up for them and being like, okay, no, we need some real men. Like, I don't like this for my girl.
But also it was a throwaway comment of like, yeah, it wasn't like she was like standing on a box going like, oh, girl power. Like, it was just like, I thought a throwaway comment. So I did not understand. I thought it was an overreaction, but it does get diffused in the 3rd episode. What's your note in here, Bergie? It said, why are we not utilizing Ariana Madix for a recoupling ceremony?
Oh yeah. I always hate when Islanders sit around the fire pit and they just get text messages instead of like the host coming in. Because it's like you would never watch Survivor and then they're reading tribal notes on how to do the banishment without Jeff. Or you'd never watch Traitors without Alan Cummings coming into the banishment room. So I'm always lost in like, because this has been a tradition in Love Island where they just sit around the fire pit getting texts. But I think the show has the budget And I think Ariana Madix is out there doing After Sun. Like, why can't Ariana Madix come out for every single elimination? Why do we do these text message eliminations?
Well, I think it is because it's like, it's part of the history of Love Island UK. Is that like, because what happens, you guys? It's like, it's a long thing. It's like a text, and there's like a different text for each person, so you continue on the information through separate texts. I was joking the other night. I was like, does anybody get on there that can't read? They're like, I got a text. Like, hey, my eyes are blurry. Can you read this for me? Because like it really requires you to read, and how strong of readers everybody are. But I understand your point that this could be more hosted on those moments.
Yeah. And I think I personally think it's better with the host out there. I don't know what your opinion is, but
it creates like a, oh shit, what's about to happen type thing. But I feel like waiting for the text also creates that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's builds the anticipation.
It builds
and the drama,
right?
So at the end of this, we have the new coupling of Nick and Sierra.
I also just want to say real quick before we continue, I was shocked that Taylor stood up. I don't know, like Taylor stood up, and it was just like out of nowhere. It was like, Taylor, why are you standing up right now? Like, what? You never even talked to Sierra.
I didn't understand that either. I that was very confusing to me, and I was like, oh, I thought Taylor was like happy.
Yeah.
Who was the one that said that I want everyone to get to know all the girls or everyone should get to know and explore all the connections in here? Who said that?
Was that Ace?
Or is that Taylor?
I think it was Ace. It sounds
like
Ace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
But I think he's a silly, fun guy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't trust any of the men. Just like, I mean,
they're all shit.
Yeah, exactly. So
besides Bergalicious.
Yes,
exactly. Taylor even went up for the recoupling, but the recoupling, it's Nick and Sierra. So Nick finally gets the girl that he obviously wanted, and Bella has to kind of react to that. And, we find out in the third episode, she is bummed about it. It did throw her off her game a little bit, even though we're early days.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And Bella, we see that a lot more in ending the episode 2. We have Bella, Charlie, and Ace are all still single. And then that leads us into episode 3. And in episode 3, it was like one of the quickest makeups I've ever seen with everybody in that villa. There was like no hard feelings being laid over. Because we've seen conversations come back like 2 days later where Liv and Leah are going at it again at the fireplace with Rob. And
that's what I want to see. I want to see drama.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. That's why you invest in these early episodes, because they're building relationships that eventually in the second week will hopefully pop off. But yeah, everybody's making up. Everybody's, for the most part, being on their best behavior. But you're seeing those insecurities come out, like Bella with Nick, is that in the third episode, we end up having this conversation where Nick is still playing both sides. Even though Nick picked Sierra, he goes up to talk to Bella and he's nervous about this conversation, but he's like, are you really done with me? I'm like, you bitch, you chose Sierra. What are you talking about?
Oh, wait, yeah, okay. I did see that when she was like, oh yeah, no, I thought about it. Didn't Bella say that? Mm-hmm. He was like, so I just didn't know if like, is this the end? Are you really done with me? And she was like, yeah, no, I thought about it.
Yeah.
Dash up. What are you doing? Be done with that.
Yeah, this is where the dash is. So he's like hesitant. Dash. But I was shocked because I was like, yeah, be done. Like, don't
literally, Belle, dash out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Belle, dash out of there. I don't understand that. And I thought it was so sleazy of Nick. I'm like, dude, if you love your girl Sierra so much, explore that till it's not explorable anymore. But then it still seems like Sierra is potentially flirting with other guys as well. Ace is still trying to get in there, I believe.
You know what? You said Nick would probably be out first. I think that would be awesome if we see Nick leave first. Like,
I think he's not going to make it, you guys. I stand on business by that. I don't think he's going to be
he does, even Rob, who didn't have he was, the snake guy, but he had a very brooding, mysterious.
But he was very mystery man. No one could figure him out. And
Nick is not.
Nick figure him out. You're just a fuck boy that wants 2 girls, and you can't have your cake and eat it too. I said what Serena did.
No, I was telling my girlfriend the other night. Nick is that I was like, Nick must be really charming in person, because I don't think we see that charm on screen. If that makes sense. There are certain people that like pop in person and then pop on screen. He must be one of those that pops in person, because I don't think he's popping on screen.
Yeah. Agreed.
And do you think he looks like Timothée Chalamet, or is that just me?
I don't know.
It's just the hair. It's just.
I think it's just the hair. Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, obviously Bella is hurt with Nick, and obviously I hope to God she does not go back to Nick because I would just roll my eyes.
Have you guys been seeing the controversy of Belle on TikTok about like how the girl has like 3 different accents? Have you been seeing
that she has a little bit of a black scent at times, that she has a little bit. Yeah, I've seen that. I think, but also, yeah, I mean, maybe to a degree, I do think it's one of those things is like, we're looking for anything to be mad about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. Like that hasn't personally annoyed me.
Yeah, I was going to say like, what was that about? Cause I've only seen episode 1, so I haven't seen like a switch up in like her demeanor.
No, I had read black scent and a bunch of like, just kind of the TikTok verbiage. You know, like gotcha. I think that, I mean, part of it. So who knows what we'll find out more about. This is also the episode where Shereé and Nick have the conversation about Shrek. It was like,
yeah.
But by the way, also, I love Shrek, but the dumbest, you like Shrek? Yeah, Shrek too. Cool. Very cool, dog. Yeah, that's a very cool movie. Like they have I love Shrek, but they don't have anything interesting to say about it. Like Shereé kind of has like some
like at least if you're gonna ask like you love Shrek, like impersonate Donkey.
No, exactly. No, he's
Taylor came in. Taylor was locked in her hotel room for like 30 days. And when you came in, she watched Legally Blonde
on repeat.
Because that's all she could do. And
that would
when she got into the village, she could cite everything, the whole movie.
So you're telling me there's footage out there of you doing the whole movie?
There probably is. And the producers had to come over to me and be like, shut up.
No. They would come over the loudspeaker. Bergie, stop talking to Taylor. You guys can't have this kind of conversation right now because we can't, I don't know.
Can't get the rights.
And so to pass the time, she would talk about Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde.
And to do it. Yeah.
Oh, also, if you guys didn't know this, so this is actually an interesting fact. When you're filming inside the villa, the producers have a verbiage called the pots are boiling. So when the pots are boiling, that means that there's too many conversations that are being had that they can't film everything at once.
Amazing.
So they'll come over to you, and if me and him are having an actual like, oh, he's asking me to be exclusive, they'll come over to us and say pots are boiling. So we have to stop our authentic conversation and start it up another day.
Yeah.
And, like producers being like, can you go have that conversation again?
That's
like that was 2 days ago.
No, I like that. I mean, but it kind of makes sense though. If there's like all of this stuff happening, they're trying to capture everything. So also Bella, in regards to Nick, says to Nick, the ball's in your court. And I'm like, the ball shouldn't even be in play. So obviously Nick is going to be playing both sides of the fence here.
Oh,
that's what we see in episode 3.
Yeah, especially if it's a last ditch effort, you know, like, oh, Shereé just moved on with somebody else. I'll go back to Bella.
Yeah.
Like that's what Bella's allowing.
And Charlie, the UK guy, is making moves with Bella, right?
Yeah, and I just feel like this is his way of trying to stay in the villa. Like I watching their conversation, I really wasn't feeling the connection between Charlie and Bella.
Well, people said our connection seemed forced.
I know.
We don't know,
but those are my thoughts and opinions.
These are just guesses. Well, you had an interesting comment here that you said also Bella was getting hyped up by Huda, and you said from previous seasons when an Islander gets hyped up by another Islander, they tend to make it to the final 4. What does that mean?
So I just think back to all the previous seasons that I've seen before when girls start hyping each other up. The one that's like hyping the other girl up, they tend to make it very far. I also think of Marco hyping me up to, you know, go out and have conversations with people. They tend to keep those Islanders around. And that's
why do you think that is?
Opinion.
Just because people are rooting for them? You think the world will root for them?
Without getting too much into production, because I don't want to get in trouble, but I just think that's a good sign for Huda to make it very far.
Yeah, by the way, I do. Okay, so that's interesting. You think Huda will make it very? Yeah, Huda actually was, you know, needing some encouragement, but I also think I think Chelly is. I don't know. I like the girls more than I like the guys. I think that's probably what it's designed for as well. But also you said Bella and Nick are over, but I don't think they are over.
No. I wrote that. Did you see that? I think I said
You said thank God Almighty. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm praying to God Almighty in quotations next to that. Because I don't think they are, but I'm praying to God they are.
And then we end with Hutta telling Jeremiah about her daughter, and he has this reaction of like, oh man, oh no, oh man. And that's where we ended episode 3. So tonight's episode is where we pick back up. And we'll find out what that reaction is and what the conversations are and how Hutta deals with it and the whole island. So that's going to be an interesting conversation. Now, they take Wednesdays off usually from here on out, right? Or what is the run schedule?
Yeah. So Wednesdays will be
Saturdays?
Yeah, Saturday is going to be After Sun, I'm pretty sure. After Sun got announced coming back, right?
After Sun is the after show, you guys, that they do one day a week. But I think the schedule is a little different this week because they started on Tuesday. So I'm not sure, but we'll be, so we won't be talking obviously about tonight's episode, even though this will be out tomorrow. You'll already know what happened on Friday, but we'll add it into next week's. Is there any other details that you wanted to talk about or anything before we wind down here?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything that's
Hannah and Marco from our season got engaged.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hannah and Marco got engaged. Are you invited to the wedding?
I don't think so, but great for them.
Great for them.
Okay. Well, Hannah and Marco, if you're listening, we'd love to go to the wedding. I'm going to include myself as well. So I will say this is probably taking a lot longer than our normal episodes will be, but we're just getting started here and we want to go over a lot of things. And we have a very special guest, even though Taylor should be here every week. But I want everybody to go follow these people and support these people on all platforms. And I was really excited to talk to you guys. And I am leaving this very excited to talk to you again next week, or at least Bergie, you. But Taylor, you are always welcome, even to give your Bravo hot takes.
We'll be together next Friday.
Oh, we're going to be together next Friday.
Never mind, you guys. We might be talking to Taylor next week as well. So
we're going to be together next week.
She wants to do Bravo with you.
I do. I told you, come on for just a pop culture roundup.
The Valley this season is insane.
It's insane.
Insane.
Why
does Jax have his phone in rehab?
Why is he doing any of these things in rehab? It seems amazing.
It's insane.
Well, there's a little conspiracy that he might not have actually went to rehab, which I don't believe, because there was a counselor at the park with Brittany supposedly when he had that conversation. So I don't believe it, but it seems like I don't know. And I also think I know production made him go, so I think they would be keeping tabs on him of some sort.
Oh yeah. But it's weird that he has his phone and sending Brittany so many messages in rehab.
And I would imagine if you were at that mental health facility, you'd be so disappointed in this person. You're like, what?
Absolutely.
We've been trying to work on your shit, and then you're terrorizing your wife. That's so sad.
Yeah, him getting that condo next to Schwartz was
it's a bad
insane.
move. Well, he's already there. Okay, so Bergie and Taylor, we will talk to them again next week, but this was the beginning of Love Island. I'm so excited to continue this journey with you guys, and keep us posted whatever you want to hear, or if you have questions for Bergie about this process. He is, he's a genius at this stuff and the gameplay, and Taylor as well. Anything else, you guys?
I think that's right.
I read the comments, so whatever you guys comment.
Be nice. Don't be a dick. Please. I can't, listen, there's only come on. Be nice. This is all in good fun, but I really appreciate it if you guys watch this or listen to this. We really appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
Bye,
We've
guys.
got a chat. Bye.